Welcome to my podcast, Shaping Your Journey. My name is Aldo Matza, percussionist, drummer, and artistic director of Cosa Music, inviting you to join in on conversations with friends, artists, professionals, and experts in our music world. Today, I have the extreme pleasure of inviting and having on the show Mr. Omar Sosa, who's an incredible pianist who I had a chance to see, well, many times, but we'll get to that in a minute. Omar, thank you so much for joining us. This is a pleasure.
Well, it's pleasure is mine, Aldo. It's always, it's always great. Yeah, it's great to have an opportunity like this. And actually, we don't talk too much when we see each other in Montreal. But what now we're gonna have a little bit of time, brother.
Yay! it's been a little bit of a dance to get this together because I know how busy you are. Wow. And of course, coordinating. You're in Barcelona right now, and
Yeah.
I mean we're trying to do this while you were in Montreal. That didn't work, so we're chasing. That, but it's beautiful that you can do this. Tell me something. Here's my a question for you before we get onto the subject of, which will set it up for shaping your journey. Those decisions that we make, those people who help us. All of the above. Tell us first, what was the very first thing that set it off for you? What was that spark that lit the light, the switch that made you start all of this journey?
Well, it was a phrase of a old friend of mine. She's from Switzerland, and she told me, Omar, you try to figure out a way to play your own music. She told me this in Cuba 100 years ago, long time ago. And by that time, I was the musical director of Xiomara Laugara, a great Cuban singer. She lives in New York now. And I remember when she told me this, her name is Mariana. She was basically one of the first person who brought Irakere to Europe. Back in the day, I'm talking about back in the days. And she, when she told me this, by that time, I don't have a clear idea. But I remember when I was initiated in the Santeria religion. Yeah, one of the first things. Yeah, my godfather told me when I was in one of the ceremony. He said, "You have a mission now. You're gonna know pretty soon, but you have a mission." And man, 3 weeks later, the amount idea I have in my head what was was more than what I can handle. And now this is what I do. No, but basically I continue my mission because Orula and the Orishas, they were Obatala. By the way, this is Orisha I have in my head. Obatala was clear. You know, look, look, look your path and continue to listen the voice and never go in a different area, because no matter if you go to a different area, Obatala going to bring you back to your destiny. Let's call it the destiny. Let's call it like this.
Yeah. And Omar, I have to say something. I say this all the time. I don't believe in coincidences. There's no such thing. Things happen for a reason. It's not like everything is predetermined, but there is something that goes there that happens, and you have to see it. And that's what you do, and that's where it takes you. And that's a beautiful story. I never knew that one. And I remember seeing Chucho's group, Irakere, way back in the 70s. I was a kid. And I was so stunned, seeing Enrique and, Pla and like everybody, all the guys. I said, oh my, I had never seen such a thing. And then like a few weeks later, I saw Weather Report. Like I was a rock drummer beginning, and then I started studying classical music and jazz and all of that, got my degrees. But in the beginning, I was seeing all of these musicians coming from different planets. And I see where you're coming from, and it's interesting that these people say these words to you and you follow it. And you're absolutely right. You have to stay on your path. and you've done such incredible
Oh,
stuff.
thank you so much. Well, basically, eh, like I always say, I just translate a voice that come through me. You know, it's not myself. Yeah, is my person, my physical body is a extension of somebody's voice. It can be no, it can be different voices that come through me, and I said again and again and again and again. The only thing I do is translate the message as clean as possible. Yeah, and I don't, I don't look for this thing that people go, oh, I want to be, I want to be, I want to be. No, I want to figure out a way to be the right person to translate the message, to be clean enough to translate the message, because it's something I feel inside of me. When the message comes, I say what they want me to say. I feel it, man. You know, it's so much. Well, you're a musician. You know maybe what I'm talking about.
Of course,
Yeah,
yeah, I did.
when you have a concert or a gig or what you play, and you're happy with what you play, is because it's a communion between yourself, your brain, your soul, and the cosmic energy. What people call cosmic energy, I call the spirit and the ancestors in light.
Right. Yeah, that's beautiful. And I mean, you had obviously training, musical training, and you're from Camagüey, if I remember correctly, right? And
Yeah.
beautiful. And I mean, there's a lot of music around. I don't know if you know this, but I spent a lot of time in Moron, in uh, in that whole area because we that's where the whole Cosa thing started. In
Oh, you're deep. You went to Moron, to Vertiente, to Mina. It's yeah. This is yeah eh, one of the our great musicians today we have in Cuba is our great saxophone player. His name is Alfred Thompson. Yeah, he's from Vertiente. He's from Vertiente. He's deep. He's deep into the let's say the Haiti tradition, because it's a lot of Haiti people who was and Haiti and Jamaican who was moving there and all this kind of Afro, I call Afro village. You know,
interesting,
it's
interesting.
yeah. You've been to these places.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
and actually in Cayo Coco, that's where the whole Cosa Cuba project started way back over 20 years ago, because there was a hotel called El Senador at in
Oh,
Cayo Coco, and the people are that's a Canadian organization that opened that up, and they had asked me to help them out. They want to do something musical, something special. So I had just met Piloto, and
wow.
yeah, well, he's my Cuban brother. He has
Well,
been
yeah,
and still is.
my brother too. We studied together. He's older than me, but always Piloto. You know, I was always follow, you know, his musical universe. He was, oh, he's still. He was ahead in that time, and I think he's still ahead. He's one of our great musicians. Actually, he's a drummer who really who write beautiful music, man.
Yeah,
And he write with the guitar.
that's right. That's right. Yeah,
It's
yeah,
amazing, man. The harmony he developed. You know, yeah, I remember Climax, man. Climax was something. Woo, man.
yeah.
He's writing. Well, you know, he's there. He's still in Cuba.
Oh
He's,
yes, and he just had a child too, so he's in another world, and he's great. But the thing is, we started this festival in Cayo Coco called the Jardines del Rey Festival, and what we would do, we had an arrangement with the hotel that they would do these 1 week of festival, and I said let's have only Cuban artists, the top people there. At the same time, we'll do our workshops when the musicians are there. So we had it from Havana to Cayo Coco. Once a week, there was a bus that would come and bring the musicians to the
yeah.
hotel. And they actually, we said, they have to stay in the hotel. They can't stay in this village. You remember back then, they were not allowed to stay. So we broke
Yeah.
all the rules.
Well, you made it, man. So you know, can you imagine? By that time, people yeah, musicians to be in the hotel, they have access to drink and eat in the hotel. This was another level because by that time Cuban they don't allow to be in any hotels.
In the
But
international hotels,
I
right?
have some funny stories about this, man. I end in jail for one of these kind of job. A friend of mine, yeah, he asked me actually to, yeah, but we have a little party in a house of one of my friends. His name is Pavel Urquiza. He's a he's a singer songwriter. He's a great composer too, and a guitar player. And Pavel told me, "Hey, Omar, we have some American lawyers in the house, and they want to drink some Havana Club or whatever." I said, "Okay, don't worry, guys. I'm gonna go to Hotel Presidente to get to get a few bottles of wine." And man, and what the time you don't be able to have dollars because if,
Right.
if they catch you with dollars, you end in a jail, brother. And I forget this. I collect the dollars. Okay, give me. I went to the Hotel Presidente to buy some 4 or 5 bottles of ron. And I remember when I get out, the police say, "Hey man, how you get this money? How you buy this?" I say, "Well, some friend of us, they are they are in the house and they give me the money to buy the ron." I say, "You know what? This is illegal, brother. We end in jail that night." Because Pavel, after a few hours, everybody in the party they was nervous. So, what is Omar? He's supposed to be here in 20 minutes. Oh man, and Pavel he tried to pick on me, and well, it was a
Wow.
nightmare, bro. It was, but the night ending good at 3 in the morning. Finally, all the lawyers they went to the police department. It's close to Carlo Tercero. This kind of Carlo Tercero is something. Man, it was, yeah, it's in the glass. Back in the days, man.
Oh,
So no,
yeah.
but you did something good, bro. You
Oh,
bring
and
music to the
it was
hotel, then
well. Imagine the whole climax would stay in the hotel. Chucho and his band would stay in the hotel. Sexto Sentido, like everybody would come. Like it was a 3 week festival, and then during the day we would have our workshops, and then of course, that was back then. It was not something that they were used to. So they were all nervous in the beginning. We said no, no, no. It's all arranged, and it was fine. And that lasted for 3 years. But I'm talking back then. This is 23, 24 years ago. And then
wow.
when the people sold the hotel, Piloto said to me, "Why don't you move your whole workshop, your whole idea to Havana? I just started this festival called La Fiesta del Tambor."
Yeah.
And so I said, "Sure, that's a great idea." So now we've been collaborating since then. And then they have their Piloto does this festival, not just the festival, but a competition where people nacional, competencia nacional with for drums, conga, timbales, bata, bongo, and then the kids would win the instrument. But then, of course, they didn't have the instrument to give to the winners. So
Yeah.
every year I would bring the instruments from here, to,
Oh, great. Yo, man, congratulations,
and
brother.
still
It's a
doing
beautiful,
that.
beautiful
Yes.
project, man. Beautiful project, beautiful project. Well, and actually, we we have it. We have musicians. I think to give to the whole entire planet,
Oh yes. Oh yes.
and amazing. But our main problem is we don't have the instruments.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is something, it's happening even with, I don't know, even with the guitar, with the flute players. You know, it's hard to have the instrument.
Yeah.
But we
Oh,
have the musicians. We have the humans.
oh boy, and the whole thing about the culture, and it's like a cultural oasis. I love going to Cuba just because of that, because everybody understands the importance of culture, and it's ingrained, and it's like I said, it's a musical oasis. Period, all around,
Yeah.
and
Well,
we've con, you know.
yeah. Yeah, I hope it never change, man. I hope it never change.
No, we
Yeah,
built this. We built this bridge, and the bridge is solid. And I've involved some of the companies like Sabian and Gonbops who are helping
okay.
out now that I endorse. So I bring them down, and they've been really helpful. We endorsed a lot of the drummers back down there, and we have an annual dinner. The endorser dinner, like we do everywhere else. You know, so that's good. So that's continuing, and this year we started again, and it was big. And now we bring even groups, school groups, to perform. We do intercambios. We do all kinds of things. So I'm down there a lot. Before COVID, I would be there maybe 7, 8 times a year. And
Wow.
now, yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
more than that.
more than that, I'd have to live there.
Yeah.
But it's really interesting. I mean, you've been working. You left Cuba, of course, and then traveling the world. And I know you won seven Grammys. In every project you
No,
do.
no, nomination. I
Oh,
never, I
nomination.
never won a Grammy.
Oh, you
I
never won.
have
Okay.
seven nominations. I only win the German Grammy with
Okay.
my big band project. It was called Echo, but but no the Grammy. Maybe one day. I don't know. I go with the flow.
Yeah, yeah. But one thing that's beautiful is every project that you come out with, and every once in a while I'll receive your emails and your news, and I say, oh, now what's he up to? And the last one was absolute. They're all great, by the way, but the last one was really interesting. The trio, the Suba trio that you had,
Yeah.
with Gustavo and Sekou. I mean, absolutely beautiful, beautiful.
No,
And
was yeah, it was a journey who start. Uh, I think it was almost 14 years ago now, because with the COVID, with these 2 years of COVID, a lot of people lost their mathematics in a way.
yes,
Yeah.
well said, well said.
Yeah. Okay. This journey started way back with the first records called Transparent Water. And basically, I fall in love with the way Sekou played the kora, because he's a really interesting uh, musician who keep the tradition alive, but he can move to a contemporary way. And sometimes it's hard it's hard to play with traditional musicians, because they play what they play. They
Right.
play what they play, and it's you who need to move around. Yeah, something I love to do. But with Sekou was really interesting, because when we meet each other in London, we play for 2 hours nonstop without tell us any words, absolutely words, no hello. And when we finish, we look each other and say, I tell Sekou, hey brother, we need to do something together, because it's rare. You sit down, and I was play for 2 hours nonstop with you, and we was talking all the time, talking all the time, talking all the time. So we did our first project called Transparent Water, and it was like I need to say it was an unexpected project, because before this I did another recording as a guest in a project with Chemirani family. They're from Iran, and one of the songs was with Balake Sissoko. So I record two songs with Balake Sissoko in that project. So by that time I already have some sense of how the kora can blend with the piano. But when we play with Sekou, man, it was beautiful, because is what the important thing was to give the space to the note that we don't play,
Interesting, interesting.
because mostly the time is reversed. I'm sorry, mostly the time is reversed, because people try to show out. who they
Yeah.
are. And
Yeah.
it's a lot of muscles, a lot of muscle, a lot of muscle. And with Sekou was beautiful because we look each other and he called me, I answer, and he called me back, I answer, I called him unexpected, and he answered. I say, wow, that is the vibe of all the masters always say. Miles Davis always say, the best note is the note if you don't play.
Right.
And when you have a partner who can understand this philosophy, man, everything is easy.
Yeah.
It's respect.
Yeah.
It's respect.
And a musical maturity also, an understanding that not to have. I guess it comes down to not being strong enough and believe in yourself enough not to have to say all these things that you can do, right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
not
yeah,
important. It's not important in the conversation, right?
yeah, yeah. Sometimes 3 words, they're they can resumir. They
Resolve
can,
or
yeah,
resume,
they can resume the whole entire idea.
right?
So it's great. And actually, when we did the first project, Transparent Water, yeah, you know, was it kind of more eclectic because I got the kora, but my main idea, actually, I passed this to Sekou later. Say, let's let's make a homage to the strings instruments of the planet. So I have a koto, I
Wow.
have a bagu from Korea. Few different, the piano is in a way it's percussive instrument, but it's a string instrument too. So I always work with Gustavo for 20 something years now. And I Gustavo, hey Gustavo, I hear some bata here, some bata here, some bata here, there. And he said, okay, We did the session. Some with Kolapuya, Kitipla, Maraca, his a specialty.
Yes.
But it's interesting because the record came out really well and we start touring. And in the beginning, well, I say, well, it's too many musicians here in the record. So how we can synthesize this project. And it
Okay.
turned out a trio, Sekou, Gustavo, and I. Where me with a little bit of sampler, by Gustavo with all this kind of percussion store, because basically you have a percussion store.
I,
But yeah,
yes.
yeah, a lot of shit, bro. and and actually we touring basically the whole world with Transparent Water. And during COVID, Sekou one day out of a clue, he called me and say, "Hey, Black, you want to do a second baby?" I say, "Well, if you're talking about our babies, okay, I'm always ready to have a baby." Yeah, and and we wait until they open because it
Right.
was the heavy period. Everything was closed, and Sekou was working in the UK, and I was here in Barcelona with my kids, and I started working and writing some music. As soon they opened, man, we went to Menorca to prepare the record, and 2 weeks later, we was in Osnabrück, Germany, recording the record, and now. It's a beautiful baby who's growing and getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And
Yeah.
and we love it. We love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's really nice. And I asked Sekou about because he's playing the kora because I've often played and people mainly have seen koras with just one
Neck.
neck, one neck, yes. And he plays the two. And I was curious because I don't know a lot about kora, so I asked him the two. He says, well, it allows you to play in two different keys,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Which is really interesting. And then what you're able to do is, and this is really interesting. I'm sure you hear it. He's playing, but then you're playing between the notes, and it almost feels like you're bending the notes. Are you doing that? Like, was I hearing the notes in between the bent, or is you bending them electronically with your other things? I'm curious
No,
about this.
well, it's basically acoustic project.
Yep.
It's only one moment. It's basically in the end of the show when I use the effects. I know it's couple moments of the show where I use the effects, but it's basically, regular effects, delay, river. But it's interesting because now we've been playing for quite a little bit now. And
Right.
at the second record, Suba was more, let's say, was more mature in a way of the way we arrange it, the way we compose. Because after playing with him for a long time, I know I know what he can do, what is the best know what, and I know his universe when he improvises. This is another thing because it's interesting with improvised music. In whatever instrument is the way I look the picture. It's a personal way. Yeah, everything is dependent. What is the influence you have, where you come from. When you play with certain saxophone players, some of them they have a Coleman Hawkins universe. Another they have Coltrane. Another they have a Stan Getz. Or
Right.
another
Right.
they have a Michael Brecker. Well, Michael Brecker is in a way extension of Coltrane.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, and and you need to understand the universe, and this universe requires certain type of harmonies based in the because it's already been doing before. So with Sekou was interesting because the way he played models, but sometimes he go chromatic.
Yes.
Depend,
Yes.
and this is a good scene to have it. Is and he detuned the key. This is why in between songs I do interludes. Yeah, because the chord I have it basically minors, uh, minors and majors in one side, but it's not too many. D minor, F major, A minor, and another A minor, and it depends what note can be C major. But the other one is F minor.
Okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
when you have a black key.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, you have black key. And sometimes it's interesting because sometimes he play one of the notes I don't play in the chord.
Ah.
I don't know if I answer your question.
Yeah. 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 No. No. Absolutely, you do, and it's really interesting. The the interplay and his whole chromatic approach, but it's not like super busy. It's very well thought out. So you start. I mean, he may start a line and you finish it, and this conversation that you have, it's sometimes almost like the same instrument that you both are playing. You know what it reminds
Well,
me
but this,
of? Sorry, I have to say this. It really reminds me of when I used to listen to Gary Burton with Chick Corea acoustic, right? It was that same,
oh
like
yeah,
one mind.
they are my teachers. They are. I grew up with this type of music. You know, I come from a classical universe when when the scene have structures in a way of some harmonical structures. So C minor is you need to have a E flat,
Right,
E flat. But if you put the D, you have the second. If you start to have a tension. If you put the F, you have another tension. Is the fourth. You have another tension, and you create like a little cluster. But this cluster sounding beautiful. But it's interesting when Sekou play B flat or B natural
right.
because he ending, and the point is the
Yeah,
the sound of the instrument. If I play the chord in the centers, when he played the note, his other he became other finger in my hands.
right, right. Yes. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's basically the idea. No, we work. With Suba, we work more properly in the term of what is this. We have a lot of scenes we need to play together. But what I really like now is our improvised part, our free moment, because we start knowing each other more and more and more and more. And it's, music is a universe. It's infinite universe, man.
Yes.
It's infinite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just the fact, I mean, this conversation of improvisation, I mean, now I do that a lot with different people. With my whole percussion, I have a whole hybrid thing, and I perform with various people. Like there's a guy in Sweden, a mallet player, Anders Astrand, and a girl in Germany, Julie Spencer, and I've performed with them in New York and all over the place a little bit, and is that kind of freedom. We don't speak. We just show up with our instruments and you start the conversation. I mean, just like you did.
Yeah. I
But
love this.
yeah, but that's something that's I mean, in the beginning, music is like this. It's composed by
Yeah.
the musician, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
then it's written. I mean, that's another approach, which is nice that you're doing that and showing how well it could be done. I mean, it's really up to the musician. The instrument is a secondary thing. It's really what the musician is thinking, and then they just transmit it and communicate it through those instruments that they've acquired some level of expertise on, and profound research to be able to go that far and understand the material, or at least the instrument that you're working with, right? I mean,
Yeah. Totally right, man.
yeah. I mean, that's amazing. And it's great to watch because then it's that conversation and you have eye contact and you're speaking through your hands, through
Yeah,
the instrument.
but this is the idea. And now, it's funny. It's funny because now in the show, we reinforce this with our physical action. No, it's like we make some expressions like we're talking because a lot of people they think the music's well for them is only in entertainer moment, but music is a language with a lot of people was communicate themselves over centuries and centuries and centuries. You're in between community with the horse, yeah, with the horse. Yeah, even in Cuba, yeah, when we have the word in Cuba, los mambises, yeah, yeah, yeah. The Spanish people know. Okay, they come. Let's get out of here.
Yes.
It's like we was calling this trompeta al degüello. Al degüello is okay. Let's
Yeah,
go.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, okay, forget it. Let's
It's like
go.
the cavalry's coming, right?
It's something like this. Anyways, communication, man, is a beautiful language, man. It's a
Yeah,
language. It's a language. It's sounds, man. Frequencies.
yeah, yeah.
Frequencies.
Amazing. Yeah.
That's it.
I,
Yeah.
I have a I have another question because the you did something with Don Pancho Terry. When I saw the
Woo!
name, that speaks to me because I got to know Don Pancho came to the Cosa workshops, and also the festival. And I mean, he was amazing. I think he came with Hernan Lopez Nusa.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
beautiful project they used to have. I love Hernan. He's one of my heroes too. I learned a lot with him. But with Pancho, I mean, we're from Camagüey.
right.
Yeah, I know really well Giovanni Terry, and actually the
He's the
whole family.
he's the sax player, correct?
Yeah, 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 yeah. He's the saxophone player. Junior is the bass player, and they used to have another brother who passed away with a amazing flute player too. I I over all my life, in one way or another, I've been close to the family.
Okay.
And I remember when I did my record Ile, I I was in New York, recording in New York, and I called Giovanni. Say, hey, Giovanni, man, you're in town? Yeah, 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 brother. Let's do something. Bring the sax. And I have a couple hours in the studio. I would like to do some interlude, free. Don't forget about sharp and nothing. Let's fly. Let's see how together we are if we start flying in our own universes. And you know what? And he told me, you know who's here, brother? The king is here. I say, now bring Pancho here to the studio. And you know, Pancho was the first. As he come with his big hat and with his, oh man, yeah,
With that,
he was here
he's the
with
only
his
person. He's
hat
the
and
only.
his jacket. And I say, hey Pancho, you know, this is my new record, but and he said, tell me something. What? I said, go to the studio. Go to the studio and record yourself. And we did a beautiful song.
Nice.
Pancho, Giovanni, and I. It's interlude. It's like almost a minute and a half or 2 minutes. But it was so beautiful when I see the master, because one of the beautiful things for me with Pancho Terry is his presence and the way he can make this instrument a majestic instrument.
And we're talking about the shekere, right?
The shaker, yeah, the
Right? Because a
shaker.
lot of people don't think, oh, we'll just play shekere. But when you see a master like that, I remember the first time I saw him. It's not like he's doing fancy things, but they're
No,
so deep. And I just froze when I saw him, and I said, "Oh my God! I didn't know you could make so much music out of a shekere."
but but you know what is interesting? And even if you're a good shaker player, if you pick up his shaker, it was not easy to play
Okay.
because he was playing the big one.
Yes, that's right.
And this is not a joke, man. The small one you can manage because but when it's big one, you need to really know how to move. It's a really complex instrument.
Yeah.
I'm a percussion player too, but it's one of the instrument one of the only few instrument I never gonna record in one of my records.
Right.
Yeah, if I
No,
record, I need to do in whatever, I don't know, not with like this, but not in the real way, because you know it's a special sound that come out of this instrument when you know how to play correct.
yeah, and he spent a lot of time in that and really went deep. And I mean, just to the point where I remember I had this experience. I don't remember if I saw him was in Montreal or in New York, and I saw this. I'm speaking of Giovanni. I didn't know him at the time. I had not met him yet, but I saw him, and then I said I have to go backstage. So because he played Shekere also, and
Yeah, yeah.
I said, oh my God, there's only one person on the planet I know who plays like that and that way. I said, I have to know because otherwise it's going to kill me for the rest of my life. So I went
Yeah.
backstage and I introduced myself. He says, oh yeah, I heard about you. You're, my father, Don Pancho, spoke of you a little bit. And I said, so that's your father. So I said, now I understand. Now and I feel better because it's impossible for two people to have that same lineage and play like that with that instrument. Shake it.
Well, you know what? It's a sign. It's a sign. It's a sign, and is the princess and the king. Yeah, and now just manage another king, because because the old king is passed away.
Yes,
So
yes.
I yeah, let's say it's a it's I actually Junior played Shekere too, but I don't know if he played like just Bunny too. But I know Junior played. It's part of the family. I think the Shekere was every day in the house.
Yeah. I mean, I can't imagine they would have shekere like playing all day long shekere. I mean, playing it like that, you could listen to that all day long, that's for sure. But
But
having that in your ear from a master like that, I guess would help.
you know, and actually, let me tell you something. We have a beautiful ceremony. Is instead to do with three bata, we do three shekels,
Ah,
and,
I did
and
not
it's
know this.
amazing, man. It's amazing. We call this darle un guiro, darle un guiro al santo, or it's guiro. It's called guiro because it's a guira. It's a guira.
Okay. Okay.
But you can have it, man, amazing with three shekels. I did only one time in my life. I was in the beginning when I started the religion in Cuba. But I love to to have this ceremony again because the
Wow.
sound is so beautiful, man.
But they would have
It's
three
supposed
different pitches or
yeah, three different pieces. Yeah,
okay.
it's the big, the small, and the it's like bata, the big,
Okay.
the middle, and the small,
Okay.
and they have their own part. No, can you imagine the sound with the gold group? Yeah, it's wow, and wow, it's something. It's something.
No, I can
It's
imagine it. Yes. I mean, very
yeah,
much like the bata. I mean, that's a very hard instrument for most people to play. And then in these ceremonies, I mean, I've heard the bata. I played a little bit, but I've heard it in the religious context, in the uh, pop context, of course. And there's so much you could do. Either they played individually or somebody play the three of them. Yeah, I mean, it's very complicated. Very nice.
yeah, it's nice. I always say if for the recording, it depend what you want, of course. But personally, I prefer when one person who know exactly how everything go play the tree. Yeah, because one of the things with the bata, man, it's one of the most, for me, one of the most complex uh, rhythmic universe after India, and even forget it. No, no, no. It's one of the most complex, if it's not the most complex universe, because it's six hands play at the same time, and they're not compete.
Right, right.
They're
Exactly,
talking.
exactly.
They're talking, and talking, and the way they talk, they can channelize a spirit through this hand and this through this skin. And some orishas can come. You can be possessed.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
it's like for me when I listen, I love to listen to instruments together. The gimbre from the Ginawa tradition and the bata drums together.
Ah, interesting. Interesting.
Well, I did something like this in my record Sentir 20 something years ago. But I love to listen the gimbre when they play. You listen to that. It's like, man, we are sons of the same mother.
Sure, sure.
Somos hijos de la misma madre, man.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
África,
yeah. I mean,
motherland.
the motherland. I mean, Africa. I mean, that's where it all comes from. A lot of that spiritualism, that whole the essence. I mean, it's amazing. Still,
And actually, one of the things I see with the African music, and not only with the African music, with Asian music too, with Middle East, is the music is connect with the soul, and try to they try to translate voices. They're gonna express themselves through the music, and it's gonna have impact on you as a human being. This is one of the reasons that people go on trance.
sure, sure. No, 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 I've
because
seen it. I mean,
you're a percussion player. You know what I'm talking about.
oh yes. Oh no, no. It's mind-boggling, and people have done studies of all kinds. And recently I was told about some specific studies where after 10 minutes of playing of drumming and a percussion and just generally being for lack of a better word, a sincere transmission of this music, your brain goes into a trance. If
Yeah,
it's yeah, it's
yeah,
amazing.
yeah. And now you're talking about trance. It's something come onto my mind. This is, in my humble opinion, I'm not a critic, I'm at all, but this is maybe one of the reasons the beat of the reggaeton is hit every single people in this planet. Don't matter if you're a top musician or not. When you put the groove of the reggaeton, if you don't move, it's because you don't want to hear this.
Interesting, interesting.
The
Yeah,
groove, because the groove is a pattern. The groove of the tat, cat, cat is a pattern of mix of different Caribbean and African rhythm. And one of the rhythms, one of the patterns is a bata patterns.
so, mm, mm, mm.
Ka, kum, ka, pa, pa, kum, 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 pa, pa, kum, king, la, pa, kum. So, but it's in a simple way. When you present this to every single people in the planet, and actually is for more the 2 minutes, 3 minutes. When you repeat the same pattern for more than 1 minute, you already say it's a trance. You don't even know what they say
That's right.
because most of the time you don't even understand what they say.
That's right. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, but the groove, the pattern underneath is Africa, man. It's totally Africa.
yeah, yeah. And
Yeah,
it no, no, and it's amazing. I mean, the more you dig, the more you realize, and all these how deep this is. And one of the things that I really got to me at one point when you're listening to bata, the soloist of the bata is the lower drum, not the
yeah.
higher pitch. You know, and that was interesting because that's very African. But at the same time, in the Mandingo Empire, the Western Africa, it's the djembe that's the soloist. But in others, it's the lower drum that's the soloist, which is really interesting.
Yeah, well, you know what? That mean, you know, everyone can have the solo voice.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, but it's always other voices to need to support the solo.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because if not, the solo is never turned out solo.
Right. Right. But it's interesting. The Western European tradition is always the higher instruments that are the solo, and not the lower instruments, not the basses, not the cellos, not well, certainly not timpani. But that many times that's changed and reversed on purpose, just to give to say that that's also possible, and for different reasons, whether it's the instrument itself or we hear differently. Some people just hear uh, differently. And also the respect, I mean, there's a religious aspect of it. Of course, the higher ones is
Yeah,
because we're looking up this way, and the lower ones we're looking, down on, and we're giving homage to the earth, that kind of thing.
but
And
but
it,
but it's interesting. I'm gonna add something there. The low is a patient chakra, and for centuries, patient is something in a way was prohibited. La pasión,
passion,
patient,
passion, really.
passion, yeah.
Ha,
Yeah, all this low frequency, they are the patient, la pasión, uh,
passion,
uh,
right.
the passion chakra, the low, it can move you some little sensuality, can put you in actually in a, I can say even in a relaxed mode, even in a desired mode, even sexual mode. I don't want to go so deep like this, but it's deep. It's under. It's bow. Om. Om. It's low. It's no. Oh, no.
Sure, sure, sure. Interesting,
It's
interesting.
is the resonance. Is the resonance of our body. I think is go more in the low frequency than the high frequency. Of course, the high frequency can bring you some resonance in your body.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's
But
interesting.
this is I add a little bit some spicy to your point.
No, no, no. Thank you. Now you got me thinking. That's interesting because obviously different frequencies appeal to different parts of you and your brain and your guts, our whole being. And I think it would be interesting to see if anybody has done any kind of studies in that. But it doesn't matter. I mean, the fact is that I mean we're doing this. We understand it. We appreciate it, and someone like you is like the broadcaster of this whole concept of incredible communication and research of those sounds and finesse and I mean, it's beautiful. And I really, I mean, this is just a personal thing, of course. I really appreciate that kind of research that goes into, what you're doing, especially, and bringing out these ideas. All of a sudden, here's the new project. And obviously, there's been a lot of thinking and a lot of work, but it's
Oh yeah,
really
yeah, yeah, yeah,
nice.
yeah. It's hours and hours of thinking and and figure out a way to be enough open, like I was saying in the beginning of our conversation, to receive the message because it's a message. And sometimes if I try to put my brain in front, oh, this is not supposed to be like this because this is the core, the logic can bring me to that core. Well, this is the logic based in what I study, the Western harmony. But when you're right to certain traditions, the logic we have in the Western side is completely different than the logic. The scales, they are different. What for us maybe is kind of dissonant, for them is one of the most beautiful consonants.
Yeah, no, 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 no. You're absolutely right, and I think being open to that, I think, is important, and understanding that. I mean, the octave is divided into those 7 notes, but then there's also in between, and there's
Yeah,
also, how do we think of time? Uh, is it measured like a clock? Is it when we quantize things, we lose the essence of the movement between notes, between pulses, and
yeah.
and I think and being able to move that around and improvise with it is like a conversation. What's important is the subject matter. That's what's important is the message and how you feel with this, rather than to be, for lack of a better word, perfect.
Oh
What
yeah,
is?
yeah, yeah. The question is what is perfect?
Yeah, you're right.
What is perfect? I think that the perfect example of something is perfect is the creation of humans.
Mm.
Rest, what human do, I don't know is perfect or no.
Sometimes out of
But
control, but
yeah, but humans, our body is perfect. Our body, no matter what body you have, is perfect, man, because it's the body you have. But this idea of, oh, this is the perfect harmony, this is the perfect this is the yeah, it's bring me to this area of marketing.
yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, bring me to that kind of, yeah, we need to marketize this because of blah 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 blah. It's gonna be other conversation.
Yeah, yes, yes, yes. But I mean, it's amazing. I mean, I like you say the human body. I mean, that's perfection. I mean, the fact that this thing works in the same way, and I mean, that's incredible. That's a miracle. And I mean, to me, another miracle is music. Just the fact that however you play it, by all these people all around the world, everybody has it, everybody understands it, and everybody can communicate with it. And I mean, look at you. Uh, with different people from all over the planet, and no matter where they come from, I mean, that's just geography, right?
It's
because
geography. Yeah,
because
we are.
the music
Yeah,
is
yeah. Universal language, man, is totally true. Music is universal language. Yeah, your art in a way is a beautiful universal language. But the point is, depending on what kind of art, is another element there involved. So they're not like music. Music is thing here. Yeah, it's a frequency. This frequency maybe maybe can have some variation depending on the altitude of whatever. But the note is the note. If you're gonna hear something
yes,
because yeah, we have some organs to give us the possibility to hear, to listen this, and actually to feel it because the people when somebody they're deaf, yeah, they can feel the music because of
yeah,
the vibration in their feet and in their hands.
sure. It's also a physical thing, like you say.
Yeah,
Absolutely,
this is
absolutely.
beautiful, man. It's so beautiful. I'm saying thank you every day for have this opportunity and actually this gift because when I was saying before when I'm down, man, I sit on the piano and three notes is already transformed my mood in complete other different mood, and it's three or four notes, and it's wow, it's something, man. It's something. It's like the people when they go and they jump, they sitting on the drum, they start playing, and they're healing themselves.
That's right. I was
Yeah,
just going
but
to say, yeah,
the drum is a healing instrument. It's a closer one. So far, it's one of the closest instrument in every single tradition in the planet
yeah,
to connect with the inner voice of the humans.
yeah.
You
No,
know,
very well
go to
said. Yeah,
whatever place in the planet, they're gonna have something with a skin, something. I don't know what, but something with, and they can hear with the hand, with the feet, with the hammer, with whatever. But yeah, and it's connect with our essence of being human.
yeah. No, no, that's so true, and that's our biggest medicine. I mean, drumming for one, and music in general, of course. I mean, that's the medicine. That's and it's free, and it's everywhere. Everybody understands it, and we communicate with it, even if we speak the same languages. That's the real language that everybody understands, and
Yeah.
it's a healing language. That's the funny part, right?
Yeah. Okay, bro.
Anyway, listen, I mean, we can go on for days, but I really thank you and I really appreciate you taking the time. And I know you're super busy. We've been chasing, trying to make this work, and finally we made it happen.
Yeah,
I am so happy and so I can only give you my personal gratitude. Thank you,
thank you. Well, yeah,
and
me too, me too. I'm really happy. You actually was interesting because these few days I'm here, and after tomorrow I leave again. Yeah, but it's beautiful to do this. It's beautiful to do this because it's another way to express yourself. And every time I talk, it's therapy for my own self.
true.
Because I talk to the piano to notations, but when I talk verbally, it's like I did some psychoanalysis session or something like this.
Yes,
But
yeah.
oh well,
Yeah. No, no, it also brings up what you're thinking. And then so I mean I know you're gonna have a million projects coming up, and I'm really happy that you're on this voyage, you're on this journey. and you'll be continuing for a long time, I'm sure. And thank you so much for doing that.
Yeah. Well,
Also,
it was great. We have it. We have a new records come out 2 days ago. The new record with Mr. Paolo Fresu, a trumpet player from Italy. Yeah, the
ah,
record is good. Check this. It's in any platform now. Spotify, all this kind of new way. It's gonna be another conversation.
yes, yes, yes.
I
But
know
that's
so
that.
far. And actually, and we're in the process to decide to finally put a record I did like 12 years ago in South Africa with traditional musicians from Limpopo, Venda, and we have a beautiful guest like Christian Scott, Pedrito Martinez, Marvin Sewell on guitar, Jackson Barr on saxophone, and this is one of the last recording of Mr. Manu Dibango. Uh,
Wow,
yeah,
wow.
my quartet, and we introduced two young guys. Well, yeah, they are not too young because the record was recorded 12 years ago. And one a great, amazing Kotsa singer. Her name is Indwe. She's in the new record with Paolo with Food, and we have a amazing percussion player from Pretoria. His name is Asa. He played the sangoma and goma, the big drum,
Okay.
and the whole project is called Balsimo. Is based on that drum.
Wow. Okay.
Oh,
I'll have to hear this one.
it's kind of interesting. It's kind of interesting. Finally, I think we're gonna put it out next year. Inshallah, inshallah. Let's see, let's see. But Simo, okay. I'm working few
Beautiful.
more projects with Tim Erickson. Is going to be Americana, yeah, Afro Americana record.
Nice.
Uh, and a few more singing, couple solos, and nothing more, man. Try to continue, be alive, and try to be ready to channelize the voices. It's come through me, man.
Yeah. No, no, and thank you for doing that. And I mean, we have a lot more to hear. Wow. Now I'm getting excited. I got to hear all of these.
And food is out, but Simon's going to be out next year. But food is out now. It's
Beautiful.
interesting. We have a Andy Norell in
Wow.
the
Okay. On
yeah,
steel
Andy
drums.
Norell.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, we have a Kokai, a rapper from Washington D.C. We have Indwe, a singer from South Africa, Chiskotsa. We have a Jack Morelenbaum of cello, and we have a Cristiano De Andrea. Is a famous pop Italian singer who his father was one of the best singer-songwriter in history in Italy, and we cover one of the songs of his father. It's called Asima
Nice.
in Genovese, in a Genovese dialect. But check it out. Let me know. Check it
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
Let me
No,
know.
no.
And I invite
I
you.
will.
Please.
I'm gonna be back in Italy because I have a house there in Calabria. I was born in
Oh,
Calabria, so I'll be reaching out and listening.
okay. So tu parli italiano, caro? Tu parli
Sì,
italiano? Eh?
parlo italiano, sicuro.
Vai, vai. Che mangiare bene
Oh,
l'Italia.
benissimo. Ah, sì, 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 tutto. So
Okay, mi hermano.
thank
Venga.
you, and as I always say, Omar, to be continued.
Yeah, we continue. Don't stop. Okay, brother. All the best. Peace. I chat to everybody. Ciao.
Ciao.